Good evening and welcome to News Channel 8. I'm Jerome Aegean, and these are some of the top stories we have for you tonight. A busy weekend for the men and women in blue. Lee Carl focuses on energy at a workshop on St. Thomas. And the waves keep coming in your weather report. These stories and more up next on News Channel 8. In our top story tonight, the VIPD has had a busy weekend. Melody Rames, Police Public Information Officer of the Virgin Islands, catches us up with the weekend's arrest. Our first report on St. Croix.
Criminal Investigation Bureau detectives on St. Croix arrested 18-year-old Jamar Encarnacion, also known as Chippa, of Estate Cyan Farm, and 20-year-old Cheyenne Trinidad of Estate Peters Rest, and charged them with the murder of 22-year-old Misael Morales. Morales was killed by gunfire on March 20th in Estate Castle Coakley. The arrest occurred minutes before 6 a.m. on Friday, June 18th. Police said at the time, robbery seemed to be a motive for the killing. The suspects were charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, first-degree robbery, first-degree reckless endangerment, possession of an unlicensed firearm during the commission of a crime of violence, and interfering with an officer while discharging his duties. Police Commissioner Novell E. Francis Jr. said, "We want to assure the community that these murder cases and all other cases are being investigated relentlessly. Although it may seem to the public that it takes a long time to make an arrest, the detectives are working to establish a solid case that can result in an unshakable conviction in court." Commissioner Francis said, "We thank the public for the many tips we received on this case, both through Crime Stoppers and directly to the Investigation Bureau detectives. At the end of the day, both the public and the VIPD must stand together and commit to zero tolerance when it comes to violent crime in our community."
The VIPD's second reported arrest happened on Thursday, also on St. Croix. Here again is PIO Melody Rames with the details.
On Thursday, June 17th at about 7:30 p.m., Domestic Violence Bureau detectives on St. Croix arrested 18-year-old Jaziel Fenton and charged him with attempted murder first degree, assault first degree, unauthorized possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime of violence, mayhem, and simple assault and battery in connection with an incident that occurred on March 19th. Fenton is accused of shooting his girlfriend at her apartment located in Estate 2 Williams. Fenton was arrested the day of the incident and charged with assault first degree. However, due to his prior status as a minor, he was held at the Youth Rehabilitation Center. Fenton recently attained the age of 18 and was bound over by the Superior Court as an adult to face the stated charges. On March 19th, police were called to the apartment of Fenton's girlfriend to investigate shots fired. When police arrived, they found the victim with at least one gunshot wound to her back, which exited through her abdomen. Fenton was still on the scene. The victim's 3 minor children were also in the apartment. Police confiscated a firearm and arrested Fenton. The victim was taken to the hospital for treatment.
The third arrest also occurred on Thursday. Takes us to St. Thomas.
Police on St. Thomas arrested 21-year-old Kenneth Atador and charged him with third-degree assault. According to the report, Atador was arrested at about 3 p.m. on Thursday, June 17th, for an incident which occurred the same day. He was accused of pointing a gun at a 21-year-old male victim and fighting with him at the Kmart store in Tutu Park Mall. The gun, a 9mm firearm with an obliterated serial number, was turned over to the security guard, who turned it over to police. Officers said the investigation into the firearm is still ongoing. Bail for Atador was set at $35,000, and he was remanded to the Bureau of Corrections pending further court action.
And thanks again to Public Information Officer of the Virgin Islands Police Department, Melody Rames. And in other news, we turn to Hovensa as the annual Stellar Awards were handed out to the valedictorians and the valedictorians of the territory. Let's take a look.
The honorees will be receiving a laptop. In addition, the valedictorians will be getting a $50 gift card to Office Max, which they could use here and abroad. First, we have Michael Watson from All Saints Cathedral School, valedictorian. Mr. Watson will be attending Georgetown University, majoring in finance. All Saints Cathedral School salutatorian, Sunam Aigasani. She will be attending Duke University in the neuroscience program. AZ Academy, valedictorian, Carmelo Rodriguez. He was selected by Jovensa to attend the Texas State Technical College to further his education as a millwright. AZ Academy salutatorian, Joshua Walters. He will be attending the University of the Virgin Islands and then transfer to Full Sail College in Orlando, where he will pursue a bachelor's degree in recording arts.
And congratulations on those laptops. May they serve you well. And now let's take a look at your Caribbean report for tonight. Members of the Organization of the Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, have taken another step towards regional integration. The OECS leaders met on Friday and were due to sign the revised Treaty of Bastière that led to the establishment of OECS 29 years ago. The new accord paves the way for the creation of a single financial economic space in the sub-region. The OECS members countries already share a number of institutions, including central bank and the common judiciary. Under the new agreement, they will see the removal of barriers to trade goods, services, capital, and labor between markets. And the airline company Liat, management and regional carrier Liat, says it is now on its way to move forward in an attempt to resolve the outstanding concerns of pilots following a two-day sick-out. The pilots' industrial action left thousands of passengers across the region stranded. The pilots' union, the Leeward Airlines Pilots Association, is demanding that the management settle outside matters related to the public holiday pay, pensions funds, and other issues. While the pilots are back on the job, the LIA-LPA chairman, Michael Blackburn, says that the union is not ruling out further action if the demands are not met. And in Barbados, Parliament has paid tribute to R&B artist Rihanna with a gift of land in an upscale community. The island's Parliament approved the transaction of 2,634 square meter property at the Alps Hill St. James at their sitting last week. It was the country's way of recognizing Rihanna's outstanding achievement, which has also brought fame to her native island of Barbados. The prime ministers on both sides argued Barbadians are not to be critical of Rihanna, whose dress style and private life have not always endeared her to some on the conservative nation. We should not speak too harshly of her, says Governor Minister Patrick Todd. I still want Barbados to be a little less critical, adopted the opposition PM Cynthia Forday. The market value of the land was estimated at $600,000, but the government paid $50,000 in a deal with the developers. And finally, in Trinidad and Tobago, the most high-profile member of the cabinet of the new Trinidad Tobago Prime Minister, Kamala Persad Bissessar, will remain in the job as well as continue as Vice President of FIFA. This follows an independent legal advice that there was no local law against Jack Warner holding both positions. Opposition leader Keith Rowley, who had questioned Mr. Warner's dual role, said it was never a matter of law, but a matter of ethics. Prime Minister Persad Bissessar said she saw no reason why her Minister of Works could not continue in both posts, so long as his cabinet work was not affected. And that's your Caribbean report for tonight. When we come back, Lee Carl attends an energy workshop. Stay with us.